I'm gonna get started with a question that I had in the office hours from January. I forget who asked this, but somebody asked about circular bowing. It's a So circular bowing is kind of a better position. So you can see that my hand is doing a little bit of a circle. And so it's kind of a nice old time thing. And so I went and actually learned a little bit about it. It's something I sort of did already, but never thought of it as circular bowing. And so I went and I forget if the person who asked the question shared a Bruce Molsky video, who's a great old time fiddler. And so I went and watched a little bit of how he does it and how his arm moves. And so I had some thoughts that I think could make this easier for you folks who are interested. And I'm going to offer a kind of a beginner way to do it, and then maybe a slightly more advanced way. So one way to look at it is instead of one way to start practicing it is to simply go G to D. So notice that just by doing that, oh, sorry.
Call from Spruce. Call from Spruce. Battery.
Okay, sorry about that. We had Melissa's phone, my girlfriend's phone, is on the same speaker, and I think she just got a call. So I just turned off the speaker. You didn't need to know all that. But sorry for that little invasion of lesson time. So, okay. So notice that it just simply going. I'm going G to D, and you can try this. Look at that circle that forms. You can do it on D to A. So this is a great beginner way. It's just simply, you can watch your right hand, and just play with it. Have fun with making the circle. And you know, a whole other angle I've been trying to teach is physical. Not only being aware of the physical body, like relaxing it and relaxing your left hand and your whole body and breathing, but to enjoy when you get that, to have that be part of the musical experience that you enjoy, the total experience. So that's kind of a tangent, but like I really want you guys to just almost have like a physically enjoyable, as well as like music's very emotional and intellectual, but I want you to physically just enjoy like a good sound, kind of the relaxation that comes. And then just once you get something, you know that feeling once you get something and it just starts to feel natural, and then you kind of, oh yeah, I got this. So anyway, going back to the circular bowing thing. So now I'm going to offer some progressively more advanced things for advanced players. So hold on just a sec. Okay. So now we're going to let's go back to G to D, and we're going to simply do G, D, G, G, D, G. So a 3-note pattern. That's kind of, we're leading towards something a little bit harder. So notice that what's another way to look at it besides a circle is that there's sort of a dip that happens. All right, so now just do the same thing but slur 3. So for beginners, this might be too hard. You might want to just stick with this. By the way, if you have your fiddle out, you might as well practice on your own a little bit. So always good to play everything you learn as much as possible. Get it out of your head and into your body and instrument. So now we're going to do slur 3. So this is my way of getting to the more complex kind of circular bowing, which is kind of like a figure 8. So my hand almost traces a figure 8. I'll move the microphone. So you can kind of see that, but I like to present different ways to do it because it makes it easier sometimes to see it differently. So another way to look at it is that it's a dip. I'm dipping down, right? So this is like the big step. Okay, if you can get this, and if you can't get it right away, don't worry. Just go back. Just go back to the previous steps, and that's always the case with anything hard you learn. There's a series of steps. So if you're struggling with that, go back to just G, D, G, G, D, G. If you're struggling with that, just go back to G, D. If you're struggling with that, just get a good sound on G, and then a good sound on D. Maybe pause. So I'm going to kind of shift back to beginner focused and advanced, but even if you think you're advanced, approach things like a beginner. I try to do that as well. I try to always learn something and always just like I don't really know, and then see what I can learn. So finally, I'm going to go back up to the advanced thing. We can now change the rhythm slightly, so instead of triplets, it's more 4/4 and more like. So that dip happens really quick. And then naturally, or maybe with a little bit of intention, you can start to do a double stop there. Eventually leads to is sort of a pulsing sound. So if I do a D to A, same thing. But let's not add any fingering yet. I just kind of want to demonstrate that once you get this on open strings, you can then do it on simple scales. So let's do the kind of one of the more intermediate steps. Exercise. So I'm just doing open D, D1, D2, D3. Okay, so I'm going to be taking notes myself so that I can later give you some links for further learning, and also so that we can create a page of questions on Fiddlehead that's all indexed so you can easily find the question you want and maybe listen to this again, okay? So this is on circular bowing, and a related lesson is more of an advanced lesson on something called the pulse. Basically you're pulsing there. So anyway, I think that's good on the circular bowing thing. I'm sure there's something I left out, but I wanted to present a series of steps. I'm just going to go through them really quick and then move on. Absolute beginner, just practice going D to A, slowly with pausing. Slightly more advanced beginner, and really start to notice the circling of your hand and wrist. And then moving towards more intermediate, doing triplets, and then slur 3, and then I love how gradual this is, and then kind of making that A note, the note on the A string quicker, eventually just turning it into a double stop when you hit the A. All right. I'll probably do a full dedicated lesson to this with play along tracks and stuff. Okay, so cool. Go to fiddlehead.com for a progressive step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the video. Excellent. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.